What's good, fellow Outcasts and other rejects? Welcome to WTC, the Anime Outcast. First off, if you're new here, we upload anime what is based around My Hero and other shows alike. Secondly, you know 80% of our audience is not subscribed, so in order for us to continue to make good content, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. It isn't something that can be taught. It's something a person learns over time. Once you figure out how to apply chakra to different parts of your body, as well as infuse it into objects, we can start with your real training to be a hero. 2 years later. The blistering sunlight beamed down on Japan. Echoes of cicadas and birds chirping could be heard across the nation. Summer was here. Izuku, are you coming home or not? You'll be late for training. The motherly voice of Inko shouted from the kitchen. Her hair was a mess, while redness was still covering her eyes. It's too early to be awake, the woman said, glancing at the clock on the wall. 5:30 a.m. Her hands clasped around a warm cup of tea while silently swearing at Takayashi about his new schedule for the kids. Over in Izuku's room, however, sat the boy. He was seated in front of the computer, once again, attempting to gain research about chakra, as he had done with the last couple of years. Nothing. Midoriya ran his hand through his onyx hair before switching off his computer. It's been 2 years. I have effectively gotten nowhere. The boy lifted his hand and felt the energy move into his palm, but even so, nothing changed. No strength boost, no moving it into other objects, nothing. Is all this really worth it? He questioned, dragging himself off his chair and grabbing a duffel bag that he'd laid near the door. Izuku took a glance around his room, seeing how much it changed. The majority of his posters were now sold, while the floor was replaced with the same tatami mat material as in the dojo, allowing the boy to train at home as well. The dark-haired boy took a sigh before exiting his room. I hope I'll be able to become a hero for real. Faster, Itsuki! Takayashi commanded while his daughter punched a dummy. Don't stay stationary. Keep your feet moving. It'll only create an opening. The orange-haired girl quickly followed the orders, jumping from leg to leg, throwing a mixture of punches and kicks at the foam-like opponent before suddenly landing a strike so hard it tore the thing's head off. Takayashi looked amused as he watched the orange-haired fly into the corner of the room. Well done. Why don't you take a couple minutes for a break? Don't want you too exhausted before school. The girl huffed while sweat dripped down her face, too tired to speak. She slowly made her way over to the bench before dousing her face with the water in her water bottle. Ah, it seems you finally made it, Dr. Kendo mused, turning around to see Izuku walk in. The boy had his duffel bag slung over his shoulder while wearing black short pants and a breathing shirt. No shoes, however, since he wasn't allowed to use them on the mats. Sorry I'm late. We got stuck in a traffic jam. Izuku bowed before walking up to his sensei. Ah, no issue. Glad you could make it. Why don't you sit next to Itsuka there? I need to talk to you two. Midoriya nodded, dropping his bag at the side of the room before making his way to the bench. The two shared a nod as he sat down. As you both know, you'll be having 2 training sessions a day. I recently have gotten many more students who applied and unfortunately don't have the time to train you two personally. So from now on, from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., you both have to have hands-on session before heading to school. After school, there will be a session where you will be here and everyone else will, but you two will be practicing on your own. If you need assistance, you can come and ask me. I'll ask the new guys to stay out of your way, Takayashi said before pulling out 2 small black bands from his pocket. These will be ranking bands. You two will have seen as senior students, even though we might have older students joining us. There will be more bands coming, but for now, that's what you both have earned. The man handed both bands to the students, who each tied them to their arms. That's settled. Itsuka, please excuse us. I need to discuss a couple of things with young Izuku over here. The girl, however, merely waved the two off, too exhausted to care. Mr. Kendo made his way to the office with Izuku following close behind, closing the door as they entered. So, So what do you want to speak about? Takayashi sat behind his desk, intertwining his fingers before looking at Izuku with a smile. How's your chakra training been going along? Instantly, Midoriya lowered his head and plopped himself on one of the chairs. Nowhere. I have been looking online for hints on how it works, but nothing so far. I even tried to mimic energy heroes and how they use their power, but nothing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get into the next level at this point. Well, don't be dejected so fast. It's true that you were able to move chakra throughout your body quickly, but I understand. You haven't seen any growth since then, have you? I have. I'm able to move the chakra quick and easier than a year ago, but that's about it. I'm still doing what you said, constantly moving it through my whole body like a wave. I think it has helped a bit. Well, I think I know what might be the issue here. Izuku instantly perked up, looking at his teacher with anticipation. Think of your body like an egg. Inside there is a huge amount of stored up energy, but it's all contained by the shell. Your mind is subconsciously stopping you from escaping from that shell. It thinks it's trying to keep you safe. Meanwhile, it's only stopping your growth. What you need to do is break free from that shell that confines your energy, and only then you can properly start using chakra as a weapon. An eggshell? Okay. How do I break free from this eggshell? Izuku's face was a mixture between confusion and wonder. That is a good question, which I don't have an answer to. Only you do. Now while you work on breaking free from the confines of your mind, I need you to continue that other plan. Your body has changed quickly in the last couple of years, but it still isn't at the point where you need it to be. Continue like usual. You're a talent when it comes to combat. We just need to give you the edge, and we'll do it with your body. Trust me, when you go to UA, there won't be a single kid as built as you. UA? You think I'll be able to go into UA one day? The boy asked hopefully. If you keep up with your training, and break through that eggshell, I don't see why not. The man softened his usual happy gaze. Listen, Izuku. You're a prodigy when it comes to martial arts, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to become a hero with that alone. I need you to promise me you will break through that eggshell, alright? The boy nodded, forcing a smile on his face. Alright then. Go do some warm-ups while Izuka. I'll be out there in a couple of minutes. Midoriya quickly bowed before making his way out to the dojo. You won't break through on your own, I know it. The man brushed his hair out of his face before leaning back in his chair. You have grown tremendously. I think it's time. Takayashi took out his phone, making his way to the contacts before hovering over one name. Inko Midoriya. 4 hours later. The clink-clank of the old-school bell rang through the halls, signaling the start of only break for hard-working students. In mere seconds after the bell sang its tune, a horde of children rushed out of their classrooms, all making their way to the playground as fast as possible. Soon the classrooms were empty. Well, most of them, at least. I'm sorry, Midoriya, but you have to go out during lunch, the young boy's teacher said as he got up from his desk, holding a small paper bag that contained the man's own lunch. It's okay, the onyx-haired boy said, dejected, as he got off his chair, dragging his feet as he made his way to the door. The outside playground was as loud as a battlefield with the sounds of kids screaming and toys squeaking erupting from all corners. Wouldn't it be cool if we sneak out again? The boy with bright red wings suggested as he kicked a pebble. Maybe. This shithole is boring anyway. Let's go to the forest again. I want to see if I can catch a cicada and take it home. Hatsuki grinned as he imagined his mother's petrified reaction into the insect. Without any other words, the group of 3 set off to the nearby forest, easily escaping the school grounds. As the group walked off, Izuku entered the playground. The young boy scanned over the playground but saw nowhere he could sit. Every comfortable spot had been taken by another group of friends, none of which Midoriya could fit in with. Just as the boy was about to go inside, however, a teacher approached him. Sorry, Midoriya. It seems like your friends walked off to the playground again. Would you mind going and fetching them for me? An old lady asked, her frail hand shaking as she pointed over to the forest. The boy wanted to correct himself, but rather smiled at the teacher. Sure thing. Quickly, Midoriya jogged off towards his old friend group. The three had already entered the small forest. Oh, cool! Look at that one! One of the two lackeys shouted, pointing over the purple rhino beetle that he's seen on a fallen log. My mom said they are sure some of the strongest insects in the world. Like a beetle could be strong. What we need is the creepiest, slimiest, most disgusting insect in this place. That'll scare that old hag. Katsuki smiled with anticipation. The three cackled as they continued deeper in, ready for an adventure. Whilst the miniature adventure of the boys started, Midoriya just made it out of the entrance of the forest. The boy scanned around, memories flooding his mind. Katsuki and I used to come here a lot. It used to be fun. Izuku shook his head, forcing himself to focus. With the wind under his feet, he took off, rushing to catch up with the group. Unbeknownst to the boy, he was being watched. Far from the dense part of the woodland was a strange figure in a pitch-black cloak. Can't be serious. He's the only descendant. The female voice of the figure growled, cracking her knuckles. I thought he'd be something more impressive. A soft hand got placed on the woman's shoulder. No, don't be rushed. I can see it. You'll become the person we need. An old man with ice-white hair said with a smile. The woman nodded before walking back deeper into the forest. The man, however, took one last glance at the boy before disappearing as well. A couple of minutes later, Izuku caught up with the group just as they found a large slug. It was slowly making its way across the log and laid over the dried river. The log acting as a makeshift bridge. Hey, you guys need to head back. The teacher is looking for you, Izuku said, slowing his pace and walking up to the group. So what? Those classes are boring. Screw off, Deku. Katsuki growled as he hopped onto the log and balanced his way towards the slug. You shouldn't be walking on that. It's unstable, Izuku mentioned, walking past the two boys. Like you would know, idiot. Didn't I tell you to screw off? The blonde growled as he reached the slug. Quickly, the boy bent down, but it caused a loud crack to erupt from within the log. Hachan, don't move, you'll fall! Izuku quickly got up to the log steadily, not wanting to step too far. I won't fall, bastard. This log has been here for ages. Katsuki quickly got right up and hopped on the log. This time, no sound came. Quit being a wuss and go back to the stupid Suddenly, the old wood snapped in half, causing the blonde to lose his footing and fall into the dried river below. The blonde landed hard on his backside and scratched his arm against some of the gravel. Izuku didn't hesitate as he skid down the wall of the river bank and went to Bakugo. You okay? He asked, extending a helping hand to the boy. Katsuki, however, glared at his former friend. Back off! The blonde slapped away Izuku's hand before quickly getting back up himself. Don't let me see your face again, or else! He quickly stomped his way to the river bank. Izuku, however, was quiet as he looked at the back of his former friend. Only now have I seen how much of an ass you really are, Midoriya said softly under his breath, as he waited for the three boys to walk off before helping himself up out of the dried river. I should head back. Lunch is probably almost over. 3 hours later. The end of the long day soon came to be. The young boy quickly made his way to the Mayo dojo, ready to work out his frustrations on a training dummy. Izuku looked over, seeing the sun barely peeking over the city skylines in the distance. It is already pretty late. I wonder how long these evening trainings will be. Soon the front doors of the dojo appeared in Midoriya's vision. The boy quickened his pace as he rushed up to the entrance, but something was not right. The lights were off. Izuku slowly pushed open the door, seeing nobody inside. Hello? No one answered, as the boy walked in, closing the door behind him. Suddenly, the door locked remotely. The lights turned on, but they were dim, barely enough to see anything. A true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, because he loves what is behind him. Tell me, boy, do you truly wish to be a hero? A strange voice said, but it seemingly came from nowhere. Yes? It's a good question as he dropped his bag. We'll see if you have the will to go beyond your limitations. The voice said suddenly. A bright flash launched at Midoriya. Instinctively, the boy tried to dodge out of the way, but he was barely able to make it, the strange flash causing a slice to form on his cheek. He slowly turned around to see a kunai stuck in the wooden door, a cold chill traveling down his spine. Thanks again to the Outcasts and Rejects for watching to the end of the video. This video gets 80 likes in 2 weeks. We will continue the series. If you have any other questions, feel free to call out in the comments or feel free to join our Discord. Thanks again.